The World Health Organization says air pollution poses a major threat to health and climate, and it kills an estimated 7 million people worldwide every year. Now, we're not all going to move back to nature, but what if we could bring nature into the cities? Just outside Berlin, this company is trying to freshen up our urban air. This is a biofilter, which is sucking air in through the bottom and pumping it back out through this wall of moss. To illustrate that, we've got a smoke machine from the local discotheque. And if I just show you, there you go. It's going in through the bottom and out through the moss. And what happens to the air as it comes back out through the moss is where the magic happens. Moss eats pollution. It sticks to its tiny leaves, it's absorbed, digested, and then is turned into more moss. So, as fans draw dirty air in, the bad stuff is left on the moss's leaves, leaving cleaner air to flow back out. The idea of using moss's natural filtering properties came to the founder after he went for a jog. For the past 8 years, Green City Solutions have been growing moss up to 15 times faster than in nature. Each moss mat takes just under 12 weeks to grow. And I have to say, there's something very soothing about being in their greenhouse.
What's cool about moss is that this plant doesn't have roots, so they can capture all nutrients through the wall's leaves or leaf surface. So you can imagine, like the normal plants, it takes the nutrients from the earth, but this moss, it can capture everything. The second thing is, like every plant, moss can absorb CO2 because it needs for photosynthesis, for the energy. But the benefit is the density of the moss is pretty high, so we need this high leaf surface ratio to capture as much as possible. So now we are going to take a sample.
I can do it?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, let's tweeze some moss. Got some.
Perfect. Now we can have a look under the microscope.
There we go. Oh. And it's in the lab where we'll get to see moss's superpower. The plant acts a lot like a human lung, whose high surface area can absorb a lot of the air in one go. And just like the lungs of a smoker, which end up getting blackened by tar, moss could act like the lungs of a city, eventually being covered in the stuff that we don't want to breathe.
So this is from our one active products.
And the black bits are the...
Exactly. This is the fine dust or particles from polluted air. And these are the green cells, and it means that the moss is still healthy because it's green. But they are pretty powerful, really, for what I do.
Moss fan.
Moss, yeah, I am somehow.
As well as pulling pollutants out of the air, there's another advantage to these biofilters too. Here's a piece of moss and here's a thermal imaging camera, and you can see the temperature's about, well, it's room temperature. But look, when I point this at the air that's coming out of the moss when you switch the ventilation on, look how much cooler it is. So not only does this clean the air, it cools it too. And of course, pulling pollutants out of the atmosphere could help cool more than just your local surroundings.
Air pollution and climate change are also directly related. We have pollutants in air pollution, for instance black carbon, which speed up the heating of the planet. And by binding those pollutants, we also help to decelerate climate change.
Although you might not have realised that you're sitting in front of a load of moss. And to make sure the moss is as effective and long-lived as possible, the health of each moss mat can be monitored from HQ. An algorithm can control the irrigation depending on the individual conditions.
So in the future, I would envision that many buildings and the facades of the buildings would be covered in our solutions. And of course, you could also have motorways, large stretches. You could also use our moss filters to clean and cool the air and maybe even protect it from noise.
Moss on its own won't solve the climate crisis, but in amongst the talk of inventing greener technologies, it may be worth taking a lead from something that's been right under our feet the whole time. After all, nature has been regulating the environment much longer than we've been disrupting it.